Hi there, Sarah Nielsen here, psychotherapist of 20 years, and I specialize in eating disorders, disordered eating, and intuitive eating. Yeah, the hair's looking a little wild today, but that's okay. We're here to chat. And so earlier this week, I think it was earlier this week, I did a video on grief and eating disorders, disordered eating. And I said there was a couple subjects I was going to follow up on. And so one of those subjects is setting boundaries, and one of those is trying new foods. And so I thought I would talk about trying new foods today, and then we'll talk about boundaries in a couple days, as soon as I'm able to make that next video. So trying new foods. So principle number 10 is gentle nutrition. And part of gentle nutrition is feeding our body in ways that make our body feel good and paying attention to how food interacts with our body and makes our body feel. But food wisdom, variety, moderation, and balance. The first one was variety. And so when we talk about variety, we want to seek, we could be talking about variety of vegetables, right? We could be talking about variety as far as making sure we're getting proteins in, fats in, carbs in, fibers in. Variety really extends in a lot of different manners. I feel like it's really easy for us to get stuck in food ruts, eating the same things. Eating the same foods can feel very comfortable and very safe, particularly with eating disorders, disordered eating. We can really lean into, this is just what I do. This is my breakfast, for example. And again, maybe it's habit. Maybe that's what feels safe and comfortable, and experimenting or changing it, even if it's not like a new thing. Changing it can feel anxiety provoking. You don't want to face that anxiety, and you have to gauge where you're at in your treatment and what you're ready for. And so variety, again, can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It can mean bringing in exotic foods. It could be bringing in just new foods. It could be bringing in foods made in different ways. It could be just shaking up, oh, this is what I always have for lunch, right? So I just want to express that. It can mean a lot of different things. So maybe it'd be helpful to go through a few of those different things. So as far as shaking it up, variety, if you're stuck in that, I have oatmeal for breakfast. It's what I do. It works. Well, if it works, that's great. But it doesn't hurt to try something else, because the way we get all the vitamins, minerals, nutrients we need is through variety, okay? And so don't be opposed to try something different for breakfast and see how it goes. See if it's satisfying. See how the taste is. See what kind of energy it gives you. How does it interact with your body, your digestive system? Did it taste good? Maybe I'm going to try a new breakfast once a week. And again, I need you to gauge where you're at in your journey. Maybe you are not ready for that. Maybe there is a food you could just prepare in a different way. For example, eggs, right? There's so many different ways we can make eggs in there. We can scramble them. We can boil them. We can do egg cups in the oven. We can put vegetables in there. We can put proteins in there. I feel like, the guy from Bubba Gump, from the Forrest, I can't think of the name of the movie. You know what I mean? Forrest something or other. But variety can come in so many different ways. We can say we're going to try one new fruit a week, one new vegetable a week. We can go for exotic, something like that. So again, we talked about shaking it up different ways. We talked about preparing things in different ways. Introducing things in small ways. You can set small goals. That's what's more realistic anyways. You can, like I already said, prepare things in different ways. There's a lot of different ways to seek variety. And I would really encourage you to challenge yourself on that one, because like I said, with eating disorders and disordered eating, we can get very stuck. We can get very patterned. We can get very habitual. And trying new foods can be anxiety provoking. I get that. I know it can be scary, but we've got to get out of our comfort zones and gauge where you're at in your treatment. Thanks for watching.